I think that common sense is not even really should be a concept.
Snow White's not gonna find love this time.
Who are some other artists you think are overrated?
According to China, that's mainland.
Ooh!
What's up, Jelly Beans? Welcome back to another episode of Jelly. How are you, Elias?
I'm good.
I'm actually very proud of you.
Why?
Because you got here on time.
Oh, here.
I was fully expecting you to get here an hour late.
Not an hour late.
It's happened before.
Well,
So don't be gagged at that.
Well, I ain't gonna be gang.
But anyway, so I went on a run this morning.
I saw.
You saw?
Right.
How'd you see me? You were stalking me?
I got people.
Okay, she got eyes in the woods now.
Fully.
The deers and the birds.
Fully.
Okay.
Because some of those deers might be animatronic deers.
You're fully right. And speaking of animatronic animals, on my run, I was enjoying my early morning, enjoying the fresh air, and then a big-ass bug flies into my mouth.
Yummy.
It really wasn't.
What bug was it?
I think it was a dragonfly, but I wasn't sure. And
Oh, so she deep throated it.
I was really not deep throating it. Like, it was not consensual. So, but I hate bugs.
Oh, fully.
Like,
Was it crunchy?
yes, it was crunchy.
Ew! That is so nasty.
Girl, okay, but I didn't bite into it. Like, it flew away. Still. It flew away, but I could feel the texture on my
Ew,
teeth.
that is disgusting. That is so gross.
Do you like bugs?
No. The fuck?
Right.
I mean,
they bug
okay.
you.
Okay, there are some bugs that I think are cute.
Like what?
Like, I think certain beetles are cute.
Beetles?
Certain ones.
Oh, she liked the beetles?
Like Japanese beetles.
I think they're pretty, but like, if they fly on me, girl.
Girl, obviously not if they fly on me, girl. Like, I'm just saying, looking at them from a distance. I like ladybugs.
So would you let any bugs on you?
Girl, no.
Okay.
Why would I let any bugs on me?
Well.
I mean, I would touch one with my finger.
Which one would you touch? You would touch a beetle?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe if it was, like, dead and you could, like, see the taxidermy of it, like, in a museum or something.
I see that for you.
Girl, you see me going to a museum?
Yes.
Girl, so you afraid of a museum?
I see you as a dung beetle.
Oh, I see you as a cockroach. Girl.
Thank you.
So let's talk about that. Look like that.
I put the cock in roach.
Girl, it's mainly just the roach part.
Well, she had to be rude about it.
Right.
Like, now she pissed me off.
Right now, making racial stereotypes.
Fully. But anyways, another thing that happened to me within the past couple of days is I got ambushed by someone.
Why? What do you
Not
mean?
actually, but I was expecting a friend to come pick something up at my house. And then he brings his friend over. And I know this person. And our mutual friend knows this person as well.
Like they go inside your house?
Well, so I didn't want to be rude, so I invited both of them over. But I wasn't expecting him to come over. It was a jump scare.
Ooh.
But he was telling me how... So this guy's straight. And he's, like, low-key giving homophobic.
Ooh.
But, like, on the DL.
Okay, why?
Well, he said things like... Well, he has a brother also. And he was telling our other friend that his brother is high-key homophobic. And at his house, he would be like, you can't say that, like, out loud. So at least he knows what he can and cannot say in public.
Yeah.
But apparently his brother be saying shit. But anyway, so he was telling me how they went to a gay club because their not girlfriends.
So the homophobic guy and
his brother, yes.
They went to a gay club?
They went to a gay club, and apparently they were very uncomfortable.
Duh?
And they left, like, pretty much immediately.
Why would they even go?
Because apparently their girlfriends wanted to go since gay clubs, like, guys don't hit on girls, I guess.
Oh my god. Okay, listen. This is a PSA. If you're a girl and you know that your man is homophobic, or at least you have an inkling of a suspicion, first of all, don't call yourself a gay ally, because you're not.
First of all, break up with them.
First of all, break up with them. But second of all, we know that you're not. So don't call yourself a gay ally just because you might support gay people if your partner doesn't.
Exactly.
And that's the real tea. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm sorry. I support the real allies, the real people who actually don't put us in danger.
Exactly.
But like taking a literal highly homophobic man to a gay club, that's literally putting all those other gay people at risk.
at risk, and also he's not gonna have a good time.
Literally, he just don't even go.
Literally, and I was asking him,
go to a hookah lounge, girl. That's where they want to go.
That's the real tea,
right?
That's fully what he said, actually.
that's where they went.
He was like, I would rather have gone to a hookah bar.
Literally, girl, you gotta know the demographic.
Fully,
they don't want to be hearing Taylor Swift remixes,
right? And I was like, did you think the music was good? And he was like,
girl, obviously not.
Right, girl.
They playing Carly Rae Jepsen in the gay clubs.
And he wanted Post Malone.
They want Drake, girl.
Travis Scott.
NBA Youngboy.
Fully.
Child.
Just not the ooh la la of music.
Ooh. Well, we can get into that topic later.
We can.
But so, have you been keeping up with the news recently?
A little bit, but what's up?
So, have you heard about what happened in Hawaii?
That there are fires.
Yeah, so a big wildfire broke out, and apparently people in Hawaii are saying that the number of people reported missing and dead on the news is actually way less than the real number that people are seeing.
Oh, they're keeping it on the DL?
Yeah, they're trying to make it seem like it's less people dead and less people missing than it actually is.
Why is that?
Well, because news has an agenda, I feel.
Fully.
And the thing is, the news is funded by someone. Even if it claims to be unbiased in America, we don't have any real unbiased news.
Right.
So we don't know if the people who are funding the news are telling them to make it seem like less of a big thing.
Girl, news is crazy.
Yeah.
News is trying to tell a story and not reporting things objectively. And they're cherry picking what news they want to show based on their own biases and agendas. And which is why a lot of younger kids are now turning to social media like TikTok and X for news, but especially TikTok now.
But do you think that's a good thing? Because at least, I guess the argument can be made that with traditional news, you at least have reporters and journalists, people vetting the information to make sure that it's factual.
Right.
Meanwhile, the barrier of entry is so low on TikTok that you could just say anything and people would probably believe it, unless if someone makes another video duetting it and calling you out.
Exactly.
People are very gullible online now.
So gullible, girl. They'll believe literally anything.
Literally,
and
actually.
Then,
if it has the right editing and the right pictures, they'll believe it.
And then they'll change their view as soon as a news person says something else.
Right. We're literally boomers in that sense, because boomers will watch the news also, and they will literally have their opinion shifted by whatever the person says.
Exactly. Which is why,
we're not that different from boomers.
Well, work. But I was saying how
it's human nature.
Oh, she's trying to.
Girl, what you saying, girl?
Let me finish. Are you gonna let me finish?
Girl, I'm waiting.
Damn.
Damn, she not talking.
Talk, because you keep interrupting
now she's talking more.
And
damn.
she keep interrupting me.
Girl, because I'm waiting for her to talk more.
Oh my goodness.
Girl.
She really on her rude vibes.
She really not going with the flow.
Okay, what I was saying before she interrupted me.
I'm listening.
Is how literally they can be sensationalizing any story on a person or event. This is touchy, but 9/11.
Ooh.
A lot of the reports are completely different, and there are different videos of what happened, and people think it's fake, how they sensationalized it, and a lot of reporters are actors.
What do you mean?
Or the reporters who are interviewing people, they're actors.
The people who were being interviewed?
Yes.
I don't know much about that. I've never really gone into the 9/11 conspiracy
theory.
There's
a lot of conspiracies.
I mean, I know that people also think that the plane, when it hit the building, that they're the plane wouldn't have made the building collapse at that angle or something. People are it should have made a bigger collision. I don't know. There's a lot of random little things that people point out to try and debunk it. I've never really looked into it like that.
There's a lot. I mean, it's a rabbit hole for an entire episode if you guys want to get into it. But the point is that news really, you can't trust it all the time.
Well, that's why people aren't watching the news.
Exactly.
Literally, all of the news channels on TV are down in viewership from last year. The biggest one is CNN. CNN is down 61% of viewers. Literally more than half.
Because, young kids do not watch the news.
Right.
They, like I said, they go on TikTok or other social media.
Right.
And like that, there is good and bad to that because now news is more accessible and you can ask more questions through comments and whatever and be more interactive and do the research on yourself.
Right, but no one does the research.
No, but I think comments can be helpful. Like if someone in the comments is like, I don't think this is factually right, then there's discussion in the comments. So I think that's helpful.
Sometimes, hypothetically.
But on the other hand, it can be really bad because these news channels on TikTok, they're not real journalists. They're not real reporters. They're just like reporting on what they found.
Exactly.
And so where do they find the information?
Well, the real issue is that whenever you monetize the news and whenever you're trying to make a profit off of it, this is on TikTok and on cable television, it's always going to skew one way and you're always going to sensationalize everything so that you can get more views. And there really isn't any unbiased news anymore.
Exactly.
Like, other countries will have stations that the government subsidizes to have unbiased news, but...
And not even, girl.
Not even, but more than here. Here, we don't even have nothing. It's just nothing.
In some certain countries, like
CNN is just all the way left.
Right.
And then Fox News all the way right. MSNBC, girl, they just don't even do news anymore. They just a Today
even
Show.
NPR is kind of skewed.
Right.
So, in other countries, censorship is a huge play into news where you can't even criticize the government. You can't say anything negative.
Oh, right.
And then that gets censored.
Right, like in China?
Yes.
You're right.
So, but one certain news that is not as important as the Hawaii fires is, we talked a little bit about this on a previous episode, but the actor for Snow White, her name is Rachel Zegler.
Okay.
So she...
Girl, I thought that was the bitch from Chandelier music video.
Not that.
What's her name?
Girl.
Oh, Maddie Ziegler?
Girl, who knows?
Okay, anyways.
But, so she's getting dragged on the internet right now.
Why? What's she doing?
Because she's playing Snow White, but in all of her interviews, she's like, I fucking hate that bitch. I never
hate Snow White?
Yes, girl. I've never liked Snow White. She is making feminism go backwards, and that was filmed in 1937, so it was never even like a good movie anyways. And the rides at Disneyland like scare me. And basically I hate everything about Snow White. And people are like, girl, then why are you playing her?
Girl.
And
how is Disney letting her say that?
Well, now they're trying to... The PR team is kicking in, girl. They're trying to have her clap back.
So what is the PR team doing?
So now she's going to interviews and where it's like, I'm sorry for saying those things. I was just trying to be more personable and like just saying my truth, how I want to be compensated fairly for my work and stuff. And so she's trying to turn it around where she's like, trying to be more personable and down to earth. But girl, people are clocking that tea. Like, we know she's doing this as a PR movement and trying to not have the whole Snow White movie tank, but it's fully gonna tank.
Oh, it's gonna tank regardless of whether she said that or not. Now it's just gonna tank even more.
At first it was the whole like Seven Dwarves controversy where we talked about already.
Literally, yeah.
But now it's how the main character, Snow White, doesn't even like Snow White.
Girl, at this point they should really just do it straight to Disney Plus.
And it's probably going to, actually.
Ooh, it might think. I'm not going to be shocked, actually.
I actually think that might be the smarter move because if they release it to all, across the country, worldwide, they probably will lose a lot more money.
They're going to fully lose a lot of money.
So the other thing is because we've had a lot of live action Disney princesses already, like, what's her name?
The Mermaid.
Emma Stone. No, Emma
Stone.
Emma, who played Hermione?
Her,
Emma. Girl, the other Emma.
I don't know her.
But anyway, her and...
I can see the face.
And Halle Bailey. They're all
who did Hermione play?
She played Belle.
That was a movie that came out?
Beauty and the Beast?
Recently?
No, it's like probably 5 years old at this point.
Oh, okay. So the one with like the Ariana Grande soundtrack.
Girl, I didn't watch it, so that's the real tea.
Okay, but yeah, the old one.
Sure.
That was like one of the first ones they did.
Yes, that was one of the first live action remakes.
Okay, I thought you were talking about like more recent.
No. Okay. I'm just saying as an example, these two, like Halle Bailey and her, are like examples of good Disney princesses live action because they speak highly of these original characters. They're like, they were inspirations for me. They are like, they represent femininity in a good way. And now our live action adaptations are going to take the original and make it more modern. But Rachel Zegler is like, fuck that hoe. We're going to do something completely different. Snow White's not going to find love this time, and she don't need no man. She's going to be a leader. And then a lot of women are saying, like, why do we have to overcompensate for feminism and say, like, why can't women also find love but also be leaders? And sometimes women don't even want to be leaders. Like, they're okay with just being saved by a prince.
Right.
You know, so there's an overcompensating for, like, this ultra feminism now, and people are realizing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
So, I mean, but maybe that's human nature.
Right, maybe that is human nature, you know?
Why? Just tell him that it's human nature.
You're gonna get us copyrighted?
You fully right. Let me stop.
Like the AI gonna clock you, girl.
No, actually.
But so, speaking of human nature, do you ever give much thought to human nature? Like, do you ever think about certain things and what humans are inclined to do? I heard this thing one time, and it was like, humans are always inclined to, naturally, the law of least resistance.
What is that?
So humans always want to do the thing that takes the least amount of effort in the least amount of time.
So laziness?
Yes.
So
I think that that's one thing that is pretty ingrained in all humans, I would say.
I mean, maybe like modern day humans. Well, maybe even cavemen wanted to take the easy way out.
Yeah.
Because once they discovered fire, girl, you think they were going to eat that raw? They were going to use fire. They're going to do the easy way to do whatever, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I low-key agree. Laziness is part of human nature. But, which is why, like, discipline is so hard for some people.
Right.
And by some people, I'm looking at them.
Well, discipline is hard for many people.
You're right. Because it goes against human nature.
I guess. I think some people, though, it comes more naturally, too. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, something that's really crazy to me is I will be thinking, okay, it's always amazing to me how different people's minds work so differently.
Oh, yeah.
The way that my mind will get to a thought, I used to think that everyone else thought pretty similarly, like their thought processes. No. But people's thought processes will go completely 7 trillion different directions that your mind would have never, ever went to. Like, it's so fucking crazy.
It is. And it leads to a lot of conflict a lot of times.
Because people don't even understand that. People always think that other people think the same way they do.
And are not willing to try to understand.
They don't even understand they're like, why don't you get this? It's supposed to be common sense.
Exactly.
But then that's the other thing is
that's part of, like, learning.
I think that common sense is not so common. And that common sense is not even really... I think that common sense is not even really... should be a concept. Because everyone's own brains operate so differently.
I think common sense is saying, on average, even though people think differently, on average, we all acknowledge these things to be the right thing to do.
Right, but so then that's on average, but then what about people who don't fit the average? Like, a lot of neurodivergent people won't understand certain things that are common sense.
That's
quote unquote
true.
Common sense.
That's true, but...
And so it's like, we have these laws that are set up, and we're kind of just supposed to just innately know certain things when a lot of people don't have this thing that they know.
Well, that's fine, but I feel like having common sense and then allowing for exceptions when there are exceptions, because that group is going to be less than.
But that group is increasingly more. And I think the people who... Also, I think Gen Z is the type of people now where they are trying to disassemble and not care so much about these things that are perceived as common sense or societal norms. I feel like we're starting to...
What's an example of common sense to you?
I don't know, like common sense, I guess. Common sense is, okay, when I'm talking about common sense, I'm talking about what people would
Common Sense by Thomas Paine.
Is that a book?
I think so.
Okay, well, when I'm talking about common sense, I'm talking about like what people would say when they're like, oh, like, why don't you know to do this X, Y, and Z? Or, oh, why couldn't you think of this? And it's like, common sense, first of all, varies by culture. Because culture has a lot to do with it. And in different countries, doing something might be more acceptable than in another country. I agree. For instance, in the East, they think of things as collectives.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in the West, we're very individualized.
Fully.
And so one thing is that, like, in some countries, when you say something and someone doesn't understand what you're saying, in some countries, it's on the person speaking to then reiterate what they're saying and explain it. But then in other countries, it's on the person listening. It's like, I said my piece. If you don't understand it, that's on you.
I definitely agree. Culture has a huge impact on common sense. But what I'm saying is, like, within the common accepted culture, like, that you live in, like American culture, there's a set of common sense. Within Asian culture, there's a set of common sense. And I definitely noticed this with, like, my parents and stuff, because we definitely have a lot of cultural differences. And one example is when their friends come over to our house and I'm in my room. They expect me to come down immediately downstairs to, like, greet them. And to me, that's not common sense. But to them, that is common sense, where that is just a thing that you have to do when guests come over.
That's what the child does.
Yeah.
Or anyone.
Or anyone. When guests come, the common sense thing to do is to greet them immediately at the door.
Interesting.
And for me, we got into a fight about this because for me, I was just having a bad mood. Like, for no reason, not because of anyone. I was just not having a good mood. And that just happens, you know? And so I wanted to stay in my room until I was feeling better. So I could go downstairs and greet them with, like, more of a positive attitude. Because I didn't want to go downstairs and, like, hey, bitch. Like, what's up, ho?
Right.
So I wanted to go downstairs and be polite. And I just needed, like, 10 minutes to do that. Like, literally. And my parents were fully offended by that. And they thought their friends would also think it's weird. So they made up an excuse for me that I was taking a long time shitting. And so they just thought I was shitting for a long time. And then I was able to go downstairs and be like, hello, Mrs. Blank and Blank.
So not them making you seem worse.
No, literally. But
Did they ask you, are you good shitting?
Huh?
Did they say anything about it?
About shitting?
Yeah.
Girl, no.
Oh.
Because that's common sense not to ask people about shitting.
Well.
There you go. So common sense, it differs between cultures.
It differs between cultures and between people.
Yeah.
I just feel like, I know that you're about to be gagged, but I feel like common sense I feel like it's not even that important because, okay, there's street smarts and then there's book smarts, right? And I feel like common sense can be classified as street smart in a sense.
I agree.
However, I think that
I don't think there is book smart common sense.
I think that if we as a society could just communicate more and say openly the things that we mean instead of trying to hide behind veils of, I don't even fucking know, like veils of just
like playing games.
Playing games, exactly.
Like social games.
So many social games. And I think in the West at least, we're trying to, like, get rid of these social games because we realize, what's the fucking point in them? Like, who is it benefiting?
Yeah.
What are these institutions that we have? Like, why do we have these things in place? Like, we are really dismantling a lot of it. But I think in Asia, I think social games is a very big part of the culture.
It is a very big part, which is why, like, my parents wanted to save face.
Right.
And not say I was in a bad mood, because apparently that's rude to have a bad mood.
Well.
So... But I'm on the team where I think common sense helps in a lot of interactions because we don't have to take the time to say things that are unnecessary.
But so then you're not taking the time to say things that are unnecessary, then you can't be mad on someone who doesn't follow what you think that they should do in that situation.
But that's because if that happens, then I'm like, okay, I guess this person doesn't understand common sense.
Right, but you're saying it in a clocky way when you could just tell them what you want them to do in advance so that you don't even have to have that conversation.
Okay, but it also differs from your level of comfort with who you know.
That's true.
Because if it's with you, I'm going to be like, that was fucking weird. Like, why did you do that or whatever? Like, I'll talk about it. But if it's someone that I'm just met, like, on a first date or something, and they do something that is, like, not common sense to me, I'm not going to, like, call them out on it because I feel like that's rude.
That's okay. So it's just about that's fair.
The degree of how well you know that person.
That's fair. But I'm saying, like, for people that you interact with on a, I think like for coworkers, I would do it. But for a random stranger, I would not.
Exactly.
I would not for a random stranger because you're never gonna see them again in your life.
Exactly.
So who gives a fuck?
Another thing. So you were talking about how people think differently in each person's mind, besides just common sense.
Right.
So that reminded me once where me and 2 other friends, we were, let's just say, taking a trip in the garden.
Oh, pure.
And we were just looking around at like nature and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so I was looking up a lot. I was looking at the leaves of trees and just looking at the sky and paying attention to a lot of stuff above me. And then my friend was looking a lot of stuff like down. Like she was looking down. And so even that alone was like, that's crazy because we see the world differently.
Yeah, that's true.
And then another thing that blew my mind was, for me, I'm very visual and I see colors first. I'm a very big color person. So if there's like in nature, everything's green and let's say there's like a red rose out, I will notice that first. And I think a lot of people do notice that first. But my friend was saying how color is not the primary thing she sees first. She sees different textures first.
Which is interesting. That's
very interesting. So let's say there's like, you know, a red rose, but then there's something else with like squiggly lines that don't match the rest of textures in the grass. And then she would notice that first, which is crazy.
That's cool.
Like people pay attention to the world completely differently.
Right.
Which I think is cool. It makes humans so unique and like just shows how complex the brain is.
Right, and I think that we should embrace the differences in other people instead of trying to homogenize everyone.
I agree.
But that's a controversial topic because have you heard that some people say that diversity actually is a bad thing? And people...
How come?
I forget exactly. It was a really long time ago that I was watching like a thing about this. Some people say that diversity... Like, okay, they point to countries with like very high work ethics and very low unemployment rates.
Okay.
And a lot of them are countries where everyone's the same racial identity.
Okay.
And so they're like... In instances of diversity, you are taking too much time having to not acquiesce, but like consider the needs of others and like other people's opinions and other people's like views and stuff like that. And it's taking away too much time from doing the actual work.
But that's so robotic. Wow. That's all about work and not like improving the world for humans.
Right.
And I feel
I think that you can't have any visionary sense if in that type of environment,
right?
Because you're not challenging your own thoughts. And
exactly.
You're just in an echo chamber.
And I think that is one of the key things to innovation, is to have a diverse group of thoughts and ideas, and that can only come from people with diverse experiences and backgrounds.
Right. But then that's the other thing. Diversity is so much more than just race.
Completely.
Or like sexual.
Definitely.
Diversity, when I look at diversity, I look at diversity of minds.
Yes.
Like, the people who think analytically versus the person who thinks emotionally versus the person who, like, does this and that. Like, I think you can have a group of people, like, all be the same race and still have a diverse set. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And that was kind of controversial.
No, I agree with you. And we can have a of different races with very similar upbringings.
Exactly.
If we all grew
with
up
all the same mindsets and with all the same thinking patterns.
I do think race is one of those things that people see as diversity foremost because that's just our exterior.
It's the most easy thing.
It is.
And so they don't actually care about real diversity. All they care about is just the external thing because they want to get a pat on the back for being diverse.
Exactly.
But I still think that it's good to include people of different races in your teams and stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying just only hire like only one race.
I think the thing about race is at least you can bring your experience with race.
Exactly.
And I think
but it's race and what you can do.
Yes, of course. But I do think that that is a big issue right now in technology, especially AI, because a lot of AI right now is from white people and like research from white people.
Yeah.
I saw a video where someone was typing into Midjourney, that the AI software where you can generate images.
Yeah.
So they typed into Midjourney. They said, "Give me a picture of a person with autism." And each image that kept on being generated over and over and over again was like a white person.
Yeah.
And so that shows that within the research, within however they do the AI, I'm not smart enough to know, is that there's not enough, people being like, hey, why don't we have like more diverse research onto this?
Well, there was this one thing, and I actually don't know if it was like I don't know if it was real or if it was like one of those Onion type articles. But still, even if it was fake, it still begs an interesting question. It was talking about this AI that was used to track intruders in your home. And I think it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
But it was saying that for all like the black people that it scanned,
Mm-hmm.
it would be saying intruder alert.
Oh.
And even though that one was a joke, it still exposes like the biases of AI, because the AI has the biases of whoever programmed it and whatever data set.
And this is not new,
especially if it's trained on the internet.
Yeah,
like girl.
This is not new to any form of technology. It's been
it's
around forever. I mean, even like in bathrooms with the automatic fucking air dryers, the fountain where it's all automatic.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't register when you have darker skin.
That's crazy.
First of all, like I feel like automatic sinks are so fucking stupid.
Well, have you heard that those automatic hand dryers are actually the worst for you because they actually spread your germs everywhere?
I never use those.
Like they're actually the worst.
I never use those. Yeah.
But like, why are automatic things bad?
I'm not saying all automatic things. I'm saying some like the sink. Mm-hmm. Like, let me just turn it on.
Girl, those automatic sinks never work.
And then sometimes it's also automatic soap. So then I try to turn on the water, and then I get soap on, and then I'm washing my hands, and then I accidentally get the soap again.
And then the water turns off.
Literally.
It's stupid.
And then for like automatic toilets and stuff, they never flush. So then you always go into the toilet, and there's still shit in there.
Ew.
So, and then also, those like automatic revolving doors?
Mm-hmm.
Like in hotels, like the revolving.
Are they automatic though? Because I thought you just push it.
Some you push, some are automatic. Some just like
I've actually never seen
like that is more inconvenient than just doing a door
fully.
Like, let me just open it myself. And I know that's like accessibility stuff, but let's take a break.
Okay.
Let's move on to some Reddit stories we've prepared.
So we're gonna be reading some Reddit stories, and then we're gonna give you our honest reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. So I have a story from r/confessions, and the title of this is Severely Struggling with My Sexuality. So here we go. First off, I am in a committed relationship and have no plan nor am I very interested in cheating on them. With all that being said, I have a complicated problem I don't really feel comfortable discussing with anyone in my everyday life. I have been experiencing extremely deep desires for what I honestly think is just sexual attention. It's not like my partner doesn't fill that role because they absolutely do an amazing job of it. The problem is I'm just shallow, I guess. I know attraction doesn't stop just with the start of a relationship, but I can't help but look at women at work, at the store, or just on the internet and have a great desire to be sexually recognized. I want the attention so bad. It gets even more confusing for me that I've been interested in the attention of guys give too. I've always seen myself as straight, but accepting of all creeds people live by as long as they aren't hurting anyone. This desire, however, is so strange to me because I genuinely don't know what to do or how I feel. If I'm to get a bit graphic, I can't stop looking at guys' seeing them eat and thinking, what if my mouth was on it? The thought itself makes me feel so free and sexy, but I also hate the way it makes me feel. It makes me feel guilty for just wanting it. I don't know how to feel. I'm wording all this so wrong, but the point being, I feel sexually caged, but at the same time, I'm incredibly attracted to my partner too. So what do you think about that?
Girl. So it's giving repressed.
It's giving very repressed.
It's giving... Okay, like, first of all, I think you should tell your girlfriend that you're feeling bisexual thoughts.
And that... People forget bisexuality is a very real sexuality. Like, people think, oh, I'm having gay thoughts, that means I'm gay.
Right.
But it's like, no, the spectrum is actually very, loose. You can identify as queer even if you're just attracted to one man in your life, Like, I feel like sexuality is just so fluid, and people forget that.
Yeah.
And it can change whenever. I mean, I do think it is a gag that it shows up so late in some people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
But
I've never understood that. Because for me, I knew, like, in 4th grade.
Right, because
Or 5th grade, I think.
You came out the womb being like, "Yas, mama, slay queen."
Right. You know what a gag is?
What?
So, I was in 4th grade, right? And I was in line, and then this boy and then this girl came up to me. And they were like, "Hey, we have a question for you." And I was like, "Okay." And they said, "Are you fruity?"
Not are you fruity.
They said, "Are you fruity?" And then I said, "What is that? I don't know what that means." And then they were like, "Are you fruity?" And then I was like, "I don't know what that is."
Like, you're saying that I'm a pineapple?
Right. And then
I'm a strawberry?
and so then they were like, they looked at each other and they were like, "He doesn't even know what it means." And then they started giggling. And I'm like, "Boy, you're giving fruity, girl. Like, you're literally with this girl, like, king, like."
Right, clock them.
Right,
Gather them.
I'm really clocking them. But I was like, 4th grade, didn't even know what it was. I was shook, and then I just thought nothing of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly cruel. Kids are so cruel.
Oh, fully.
Like, they call each other gay and, like, try to suggest that when kids don't even know what that means or feel any of that. I mean,
right.
At least for me, I didn't feel...
I think it definitely depends on the kid and like what they're exposed to. But honestly, if they are like knowing about things like not sexual per se, but if they're knowing about, sexual, if they're knowing about stuff like that at a young age, then that's signs of like abuse.
When was the earliest that you like knew about sex, found out about sexuality, and like kind of learned
like
about it?
Sex? It was in 5th grade because of our
public school
sex ed.
Right, but when did you like really like know what it meant?
Like knew what it meant?
Yeah, like sexuality wise. Like when did you know?
Oh, like 6th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so she said 1 year after sex ed. I understand.
Girl, literally. Not even 1 year, like more like a couple months. Like when I was in middle school.
Right. She bloomed in that time.
Fully.
For me, I was kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
I don't think I really even thought about it until maybe end of 8th grade. To be honest. I was like, what, 13? Turning 14?
That's crazy.
And the first time I even heard of anyone talking about sex or like, I guess kids learn about masturbation pretty early on. And I remember in my middle school, some kid was telling me how another kid was, pulling the page.
Not that.
Yanking the monkey.
Not that.
In class.
Not in class.
And I was like, what does that mean? And they were like, you don't know what that is?
You don't know what pulling the monkey?
No, literally. And they were like, you don't know what beating the bush means?
Ew, not beating the bush.
And I was like, no, what? Like, why is that so funny? Like, why is that so weird? And then by that time, I, had Google.
Wait, so how old were you?
7th grade, so probably like 12 or 11, something like that. Yeah, so then I learned about what that is.
So you Googled it?
Yeah, I Googled it. That's how I found out. And I was like, that's such an interesting concept. Like, people do that? Like, why? But yeah, I mean, learning about sex and like words is very interesting.
Right, but so like that's why I'm saying like for me it was so young, and then I feel like for most other gay men like to realize that they're gay or like queer or like any queer people, I feel like it's usually during puberty or during like high school. But then you see people who figure it out when they're like old, like 30 plus. That's crazy.
People get married, have kids.
Well, okay, I understand. Okay, so I always thought of people who got married and had kids. I always thought that either they were like bisexual or
repressed.
That they were repressed.
Yes, deep.
But
in
some
the closet.
people are like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, I understand being repressed that you don't want to tell other people, but you know within yourself. But some people are like, I didn't even know that.
It's because let's say they have sex with a woman. Let's say this is a strictly gay man who has sex with a woman.
Right.
And, it feels the way it does. and they don't think anything of it. But they have nothing else to compare that to.
Right.
Especially older generations that, like didn't have access to the internet and like figuring out am I gay, like taking the am I gay quiz.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people just don't have any experiences to compare to, so they're like, okay, like this is just what sex is supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
And then they finally let themselves try, and then they're like, wait a minute, this actually feels good.
And then the other thing is that I think in certain cultures it's like so deeply repressed that it's like a thought that they're even afraid to think.
It's really sad, actually.
Yeah.
That you can't be yourself, you have the risk of being killed.
What do you know about being gay in China?
Okay, so I don't know that much, but I saw a TikTok this morning, actually.
Not this morning.
Yeah, this morning, of this guy who was in LA, and it was like one of those street interviews.
Uh-huh.
And it was one of those twinks doing the interview. Uh-huh. And he was like, are you gay? And it was this Chinese guy from China. He wasn't born in America. And he was like very evidently gay.
Really?
And he was like, yes. And he was asking him about his experience like coming out in China. And according to him, it's actually more accepted now, like within the younger generations. And it's like common apparently. But with like older generations like my parents, it's not accepted.
We've been new.
Right. So I guess they're more
it's like kind of changing.
Right, they're more progressive than I thought.
Well, Japan, not that it's similar, but Japan recently legalized gay marriage. Did you see that?
I did see that. Japan is also very interesting because I feel like being gay is so like if you think Japan being gay is like duh. Like, like there's gay hentai.
Oh, fully.
Like, I feel like they're very open with it, but apparently not. Like, apparently they just don't talk about it.
Well, yeah, that's what I've heard. I heard that Japan is like, you can do your thing, but just do it in private. We don't ever want to know.
Right.
And that's kind of the vibe that I also get from China. Like, I don't think that they be having pride parades, do they? Chinese pride parades?
Not in mainland. Maybe in Taiwan.
Right. Or Hong Kong. Or...
according to China, that's mainland.
Ooh!
So, clock that tea.
Right, clock that tea. There's no water in between.
Right.
But I heard that there's like this one gay app called Blue in China.
Not you knowing this more than me.
Right, girl.
She doing her research.
So I'm trying to get on it.
Right. Like, tell me how the hookups in China are.
Not that. Girl, I'm scared. I'm not gonna do it.
You gonna get some bao?
Not that, girl. Not that.
But tell me about Blue.
Girl, just like Blue is a thing, and then it's kind of like they make it look like it's an app for just meeting friends.
Oh.
But the real tea is a hookup app.
That's period.
And I think that they say it's for meeting friends so that the CCP doesn't come for them.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm like, girl, they should know the real tea by now. Like, they fully know the real tea.
Right, the government's probably too afraid to open it and see all the gay shenanigans going on. So they're like, let's just not even censor it.
They're like, yeah. I mean, it has to be censored. It has to be.
I mean, it's probably not as explicit as Grindr where people just share their dick pics.
Right, there's no way. I mean, maybe, though. But there's no way.
You should download it.
Finally. You can download it in America.
I mean, I'm sure.
But I don't think you can even connect to the server, probably.
Right, girl. The closest person is 10,000 miles away.
Literally. Let me book a fly.
Oh, period. Let's move on to your Reddit story.
Oh, right. I thought we were done with that part. Okay, so...
I always have to keep her on track.
So my Reddit story is very short.
Okay.
It's from True Off My Chest. I deposited a $700 check at an ATM, and it showed up as $7,000 in my checking account. I kept the money.
Period.
I thought for sure I would get a notice or a phone call from the bank, a very large national bank, informing me of this discrepancy, so I didn't get too excited. After a few weeks, I was still checking my balance, waiting for it to get reversed. I wasn't going to spend a penny of it, but then after like a month or so, I borrowed a couple hundred to pay a bill. At this point, I mentioned it to friends, and everyone emphatically told me to not spend any of it, and they're eventually going to figure it out. 3 months goes by, 6 months goes by, and at this point, I start spending some of it. Not all of it, but some of it. At the 1 year mark, I treated it like my money. It's been more than 5 years at this point. I spent all the money and I have no regret.
Damn.
Literally.
Well, at that point, she just got away with it.
Right.
But that's period.
But then watch the bank read this Reddit post and be like, let me track her down.
Right. How does that even work with like the IRA and stuff? Like, do you report that on your taxes?
Oh, fucks no, girl. Oh, fuck no.
So she definitely broke the law with that one.
Oh, Philly.
So.
But I would do it so for
No, literally. But I mean, okay, if that happens to you guys, maybe don't take our advice on that one. Maybe talk to a professional.
Well, I would say just wait for the bank to tell you something and don't touch the money.
Yeah.
But girl, if the bank doesn't tell you anything, that's their negligence. But you need to get them time. I would say wait at least a month.
I mean, this person waited 5 years, so they're okay.
Right. Well, they waited 1 year before they spent it.
Right. But also, $7,000 is a lot, but it's not that much.
Girl, that's a lot of money for... I mean, maybe not for someone, like, making, like, a lot of money, but that's a lot of money for, like, people our age, I mean,
yeah. Fully. If I got that right now...
Girl, Philly, girl.
Like we going to China.
Right, girl, fair.
But this story actually reminds me a little bit of when I was younger, and I was really naive as fuck.
About money?
Yes. So I got a... what's it called? A like Apple gift store card,
right, like a gift card.
Yeah. So it was like $15, and I was like, okay, let me connect it to my Apple account, and so I started spending it on iTunes and like game coins and stuff, and then by the time the $15 was up, I was like, okay, it should probably give me a notice when there's like no more money in it. So I just kept on spending it.
Ooh.
And I was like, well, there's still no notice yet. So let me just keep doing it. Maybe the system glitched, because clearly if it's just charging from my gift card and it's at 0, then it wouldn't let me keep buying stuff, but it did. So let me keep doing it. And then my dad one day, like a week later, is like, why is there $300 out of my account? And I was like, because I spent it on Hearthstone.
Not that.
So obviously now I know the gift card is still connected to your actual bank.
Literally. And the other thing is that Apple, I think when you sign up, like they make you attach a credit card or something.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, the gift card is not going to let you know when there's no money in it anymore.
Oh, girl, really? Because then people would stop spending money, but they want people to keep spending money.
Exactly. Girl, Hearthstone was so addicting at the time.
What did your dad do?
Girl, I was shitting my pants.
He gave you a whooping?
No, he actually texted me first, and he used the red angry emoji. And so whoever sends me that emoji, I get triggered. I get PTSD.
Did we send it to her?
No, literally. And I'll start crying.
Nada.
But I literally had to text him back, be like, okay, don't get angry, but like, this is what I did. I'm so sorry. I won't do it again. But that was when I was still young. Now I would just probably be like, okay, whatever the fuck. Let me just give you $300.
Well, because now she has money, girl. But back then,
right, I was scared for my life.
As you should be.
Like, I was gonna lip sync for my life.
Right, girl. And said, stay away.
No, he really did. What else do you have to say about human nature? It is a song. Who's that song by?
It's by the living. Well, he's not living no more.
It's by Michael Jordan.
By Michael Jordan. It's by Beyonce.
Right. It's by Lady Gaga.
Right. Seeing her fishy era.
Right.
Seeing her blackface era.
No, literally.
But it's by Michael Jackson. What do you think about Michael Jackson?
I am a Michael Jackson stan. Like, I grew up on his music. I like know all of his songs. I still fuck with him.
Right. I think Michael Jackson. I mean, okay. So you said that you saw a TikTok the other day.
Yeah. So there was a TikTok. It was another one of those street interviews. Who were like asking, who do you think is the most overrated artist? And some guy said Michael Jackson.
Girl, how the fuck are you gonna say Michael Jackson when there are tons of male artists now who can't even do half of what he did?
Girl, half is generous.
Girl, he could dance, he could sing, he had a whole brand, he had the moves.
He was that girl, he was that bitch.
Meanwhile, male artists these days can't even be bothered to sing on stage, can't even be bothered to learn how to dance.
Literally, who's the biggest male artist right now? The Weeknd?
I guess The Weeknd or Drake.
Like, girl.
Maybe Harry Styles?
Oh, maybe Harry Styles, but girl.
Can Harry Styles dance? Like, I'm sorry, but can he dance?
He can do white people dance.
Can he?
Just hit it up in the club.
Girl, that's not choreography. I'm sorry.
But fully, like...
What straight man is giving choreography?
Well, he's straight allegedly.
Ooh! What pansexual man?
No, literally.
Like, literally, girl. But no, Harry Styles can't dance. The Weeknd, he can sing, but he can't dance.
Yeah.
Fucking Chris Brown can dance, he can sing. Okay, so some people were trying to say that Chris Brown is the Michael Jackson of our generation. But I don't think that's true because Chris Brown can't make hits. That's the issue.
That's fully tea. Like, he has maybe 2 hits.
Like, he can sing well and he can dance. I'll give him that. He's a great dancer. And he can sing.
Right.
But his songwriting ability, is it there? Because it's really not there. He's really not there. I'm sorry.
It's not even about, like, song quality or, like, songwriting. It's really about star quality.
Star quality.
It's about your stage presence.
It's about all of it, I feel. For
like,
me.
Your whole...
But star quality especially.
Right. Like, you as a person, as the package.
Exactly.
And he was the total package.
He knew how to brand himself because he was in the industry for, like, his entire life.
Girl, he was at, like, an NBA game, I think. Everybody was paying attention to him.
Really? That's crazy.
They forgot about the game, girl. They thought it was a meet and greet.
Really, girl?
And, like, no one is going to be turning heads like that now.
Yeah, that's the other thing. A super stardom, I feel, is so much harder to reach because the internet has made everything so accessible.
Exactly.
Super stardom is done. Now, what everyone wants to be is a niche internet micro celebrity.
Like, being an influencer is the tea now.
Right, because it's so much easier to do.
Exactly. And also, it's more accessible.
Exactly. A-list celebrities are like dying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, though. Like, I don't even know of any new A-list celebrities other than, like, Ice Spice, fucking Olivia Rodrigo. And are they really A-list? Like, sorry.
It's reminding me of that quote from Incredibles.
What?
You know Syndrome, like the villain? Mm-hmm. He was like, when everybody's super, then no one will be.
Ooh! Right.
So that's the tea, girl.
Right, clock that tea.
Right.
But no, it's literally crazy. Like, the threshold for being an A-list celebrity has gone down so much.
Who do you think is, like, an A-list singer, like, male singer?
Like A-list?
A-list. Like, I don't even think Weeknd is A-list.
I would say The Weeknd. Why? You wouldn't say The Weeknd?
Of music, maybe. But of, like, A-list celebrities in general, you think he's A-list?
I would say so only because I can't think of anyone else. And
I guess
Harry Styles.
I guess Harry Styles, because, you know, it's just be white. That's the solution.
Ooh, fully. Who are some other artists you think are overrated? Or who are some artists that people say are overrated that you disagree with?
Okay, I'm going to say this. But y'all don't come for me. Don't come for me. I think Beyonce's kind of overrated.
Ooh!
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
she gonna get really canceled?
No, literally. Don't drag me. The Hive is going to come for me, girl. But I think she's a wonderful performer. Nothing can take that away from her. Right. Her stage presence is immaculate. Like, she is that bitch.
Right.
But I think her music itself, like, I don't know. Like,
listen, this is the thing that I've had to say about Beyonce. And for me, what I care about in an artist, it's not necessarily the dancing. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily the stage presence. I think Beyonce has mastered those two.
Definitely.
For me, specifically, I care about songwriting.
Right.
Beyonce can't write a song. She cannot write a song. She never tried, I don't think, to be honest. Like, all her songs, either someone else wrote it completely or is 20 different people and her. And her new album really shows that. Like, if you look at it, like, sometimes I'll be listening to a Beyonce song and I'm like, girl, you don't believe the words you're saying. Like her new song, like, she has, like, a part, I don't even know. Like, she has a part where she's talking about, like, ride it, on it, baby. Like, girl, like, you know that you don't believe. Like, you know you're not doing all that.
So I added the oil, you added the fire.
Right.
The Hive is coming for Jelly LLC.
Right.
Like, we're gonna get taken down.
Let's get W.
No. All press is good press.
Okay, but then the other thing is like people are like Beyonce versus Rihanna.
Oh, I mean, just because they're both black?
I guess, but that's always been like the big thing, the big rivalry that people try to pit.
I guess, but Rihanna hasn't even released music in forever.
Listen, I like Rihanna, but I give her the same critique. She can't write music.
But
She can't.
I will say,
which is why I'm not a Rihanna fan. I like her as a person, but her
Right.
music, girl, I like certain songs. But like, do I think that she's a great artist? Not really. That's my opinion.
So now you're gonna get the Rihanna stands
right,
on
the
her
Navy.
ass.
let me piss
They're
off.
called the Navy?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, fan names are so interesting.
Yeah. Well, fan names are a new thing because like all the new artists, all the old artists, that wasn't ever a thing. So they all had to come up with new things to call their fans.
I guess so.
Like I don't even think Madonna has a fan name.
I don't know. We'll have to look those up.
Right.
Well, our fans are called the Jelly Beans.
Or the gel. We really need to come up with an actual thing and stick to it.
The Jelly Bugs.
I like jelly beans.
I think Jelly Beans is cute.
Right. Let's do jelly beans per.
Okay.
Well, if any jelly beans are a Beyonce or Rihanna fan, just know that we love them as people.
Right.
And we think that they're very talented. And
I'm gonna not say nothing. I'm gonna put the water out. I'm gonna put the
girl,
water.
she started it. So let's talk about that. Let's really cock her.
Girl, and then you continued it. Like,
Girl, I'm just elaborating.
You took it and ran, girl. You took it and ran.
Girl.
Ran miles with
Girl, but she the one who started it.
Well, and I'm trying to end it now. I'm trying to put out the fire like in Hawaii.
Ooh! Girl, that's too soon.
Let me not say that. Let me really not say that. We're gonna get canceled in more ways than
Girl,
one.
Philly, just you, girl.
Girl,
They all go-
so now she's not associated with me.
Philly, girl.
Okay.
They want to really come for you. And I'm
Okay.
gonna stay here. I'm gonna blend in with the wall. I'm gonna put on my
you-
chameleon suit.
Oh, you really gonna? Oh, you gonna bleach your skin to blend in with this?
Philly.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the Fair and Lovely.
Who that?
It's the skin bleaching cream.
Oh, well, now you knowing that. But I want to talk about one more funny, strange, wacky thing that has happened. Do you know the streamer iShowSpeed?
Oh, he's a menace to society. But yes.
But a lot of people love him, and he has gotten. So apparently on YouTube, he's gotten like 2 strikes already.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, he's already been banned from Twitch,
oh, really?
which is why he streams on YouTube.
I'm gonna be honest. I had no idea who this person was.
We know.
So, like, I'm just not into that sphere.
We know.
But as a journalist myself,
Not journalist.
like,
girl.
I'm reporting on what
She's taking her communication major way too far.
girl, period. Like, and you better get into it.
Right.
Like, communicate with this hand.
Right, like I'm into it.
So I show you. Is it I show you? Speed?
It's iShowSpeed.
iShowSpeed.
Yes.
Okay. So Speed was streaming the other day, and he stands up because he's like reacting to something, and his whole dick is out. And so now he's under the risk of getting his whole YouTube taken out because he's already had 2 strikes.
Honestly, I think YouTube should.
Well,
Because he is a menace to society and his content is not doing anything to enrich anyone.
oh girl, it's brain rot.
It's
is what it
fully
is.
brain rot and it's fully ruining young boys who are in middle school watch his content and then think that that's how they should act. It's horrible. Like it's literally horrible.
I don't even know what he's like, but
just
from the clip that I saw, it was
Do you,
like,
do you know
what
who
is
Lil
this?
Pump is?
I've heard of him.
You don't even know who Lil Pump is?
I don't know in detail.
Girl, okay, well let me just say nothing to her.
Girl.
She know nothing apparently.
Give the content to our audience.
Girl, the audience knows who Lil Pump is.
They might not know, girl.
Girl, the audience is not stupid like that. So I show
Like, damn, she
Speed.
gatekeeping now.
Fully. iShowSpeed is literally Lil Pump, but 10 times worse. Like on crack. Like everything that you thought was bad about Lil Pump and Lil Tay, just
Not Lil Tay.
Girl, Fully Lil Tay. Literally, she risen from the dead. But
You think she's dead for real?
Girl, no, obviously. That's been confirmed, child.
It has it?
Yes.
Well, I thought. Well, it was weird because someone said she was dead, and then her parents were like, "We can't say nothing," and then the police was like, "We don't know either."
Right.
So the whole thing was very strange.
Well, they killed her.
Are her parents?
Right. I don't know.
That's what your mom gonna do to you.
Right, because I'm Lil Tay.
Yes.
Bitch, I'm Lil Tay, and I
Girl,
don't...
no, you little gay. You're a lot of gay.
Felly. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Well, I had one last thing.
She really stretching it like my...
Okay. Well, I guess we can end it there.
Like, Zamsy doing too much.
Did you have like 4 Red Bulls before this? Cause you giving manic.
Family.
Like you giving. She's a maniac.
Girl, what was the other thing you want to say?
Girl, I forgot at this point.
Girl, you did not forget.
Bye.
Girl, you did not forget.
Bye,
though.
everyone. I'm pissed off now.
Okay, bye. The fuck.